So before we can paint, we need to prepare our canvas. The easiest way to prep the canvas is with ivory black and your medium. Galkyd gel is what we're going to use this time. You're going to need a palette knife, the canvas you want to stain, and of course paper towels. After you learn to do this, it's usually a good idea to do these in large groups. I like to stain lots of canvases at once because once you're going, you've already got the mess made. You might as well get them stained. Now, how dark do we want to stain them? Well, we don't want them black, but we just want to knock the white off the canvas, right? Not too far off from our palette, is it? Okay, ivory black is a warm black, so we'll have a warm gray. And any dust or things just wipe off. It's also a good idea to have gloves. This can get a little bit messy. Takes a little, not very much. Again, we're not painting this thing black, but we're staining it. We're trying to get the white off the canvas. So what I want to do is just get the black very thin. There's no reason even to dirty a brush up. Just spread it around with our palette knife. If you have a cheap canvas or a rough surface, this is going to be much more difficult because the canvas or your surface is going to grab the paint and not want it to go. And if your paint is too thick, this will also be difficult. You want plenty of medium in there. All right, we're going to get as much covered as we can. Other than getting the white off the canvas, we're also trying to fill any holes in the weave of the linen. So we want to press that paint and medium down into the weave. Okay, that's almost covered edge to edge. I like to dip my paper towel in the medium a little bit and get it dirty. And then we're going to wipe. Okay, you want to do your best to not leave any marks on there, all soft edges. That can be a skill unto itself. A lot of times what you have to do is to let it set up a minute, and that'll change how long it needs to set up and how fast it sets up, depending, one, on the weather and, well, on the humidity most of all, but also the airflow that gets across the surface of the canvas. Okay, I feel like that's getting pretty even there. We don't have too many marks on the canvas. Right, a little bit darker than that, but that's okay. There's not a perfect tone, but again, the main thing is to get the white off of the canvas. So as we start to paint, we can see what we're doing. And now, set this aside and let it dry. You can stick it in front of a fan. And, you know, give it a day or two. It's even best if you can give them like a week to really set up, so that as you work on this, the gel and stuff doesn't re-wet. But make sure it's nice and dry and set up before we begin to paint. Unless you're going to be painting today or the next day, then you can go ahead and throw this out. That's also why it's a good idea to do multiple of these at the same time, because then you're not wasting so much. I try to put a little bit out and then stain as many canvases as that will cover. Then I don't waste any material. But after this is used, it's only good for, you know, a day, maybe two, depending on the weather. And then you need to throw it out and start with new.